Isla and Jesse Eisenberg, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us in our small but perfectly formed studio at MSN. Speaking of perfectly formed, I saw the movie 2 nights ago, and there's no fat on it. It's all killer and no filler. It's just great fun from start to finish. And it occurred to me, it looked like it must have been a riot to film as well. Did you have fun on set?
Yeah, it was like, the kind of movie that's just a lot of fun to do, especially because we had to learn like a very specific skill, which is magic. So we all had to learn like how to do these very specific things. So we were practicing them, and it just became kind of like a fun family of 100 people, including like the crew on the movie, all like practicing these magic tricks over and over again on each other.
So they weren't camera tricks, you were actually doing real kind of sleight of hand stuff, is that right?
Yeah, the director really wanted all the magic to feel real, and
Yeah.
even the magic that is CGI enhanced is magic that's getting, developed right now for the future. So it has that really authentic feel when you're watching it.
So one of those movies you got to learn a skill while making as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of these rare things like where you're playing a character that's really great at something, and it's something that you could do on camera, so you have no choice but to learn how to do it. And then like, my character's like the greatest sleight of hand magician in the world, and Isla is an escapologist, so we had to like, in a month-long period of time, kind of practice as much as possible and get as good as we can.
There's kind of an interesting vibe between your two characters because of their history, because you start out as Daniel's assistant.
Yeah.
But then obviously you've moved out on your own, but there's still that kind of tension because he kind of treats you, or sometimes forgets that you're
and
not still his assistant.
there was a mild sort of affair and my character was rejected, so she's a little frustrated at him too.
Right, okay, that's understandable. Okay, now I understand, Jesse, a nice piece of trivia about you. Your mother worked as a professional clown for some years, so I know that's not quite the same thing as magic, but it's in the same kind of ballpark, isn't
it is. Like, you're performing on your own and, having to kind of control an audience. My mother was performing like birthday parties for, little kids, and she was friends with like a magician, so when she couldn't do a birthday party, he would do it. She would call and recommend him, and so I knew this magician growing up. But I got to like see, my mother every morning would like tune her guitar and play the piano and warm up her voice, and so I kind of like understood like what the discipline is of performing alone. So
this wasn't a new world to you, presumably because of that experience?
No, except like my character is like this internationally renowned magician, and my mother was tri-state area renowned.
You've got to start somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, there's some very funny dialogue in the movie, and particularly between your character and Woody Harrelson's character. I was just wondering, was any of that improvised? Because it had that real kind of feel to it.
Yeah, the movie is like a very kind of complicated and plot-driven movie, and there's all these like surprises and twists and turns, but the director was really encouraging of all the actors to improvise, so Isla and I came up with like a very complicated backstory for each other, and then we used that backstory to like improvise and to kind of feel competitive, and Woody Harrelson and I did a similar thing, like come up with like our backstory and kind of what we feel like threatened by the other person for, so we can kind of improvise and create a funny dynamic.
Okay. Now, the ending, which I am not going to give away, so don't worry, but it does leave open the sort of suggestion, at least, of a sequel. Has there been any discussion about that? Have you been approached about that?
I think when the movie did extraordinarily well in America, and I had a meeting with the producer in regards to a different project, but he did mention that they were already considering the potential of a sequel, so I think it depends on how it's received internationally, but I would certainly love to go back and play Henley. And
Jesse, you on board?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the kind of movie that could lend itself to a sequel because there's all these like mythical elements in it. Like we're part of a magic group, and that's not real. And then we're recruited by this secret magic organization that's not. So it's like it almost creates this like fantastical world where all this stuff exists. That's really interesting in the movie, but it doesn't exist outside the movie. So it seems like the kind of thing that could lend itself to, another story.
Okay, all right. Last thing from me. I was just wondering, Jesse, if you're thirsty at all. You guys obviously both know what this is about. Your first kind of appearance on British TV screens was The Face of Dr. Pepper.
Oh! I thought you were referring to the movie
magic,
where.
yeah.
Oh no! That's a whole.
Oh
new
yeah,
level.
yeah.
You were the face of Dr. Pepper.
He was.
No, I wasn't. Well, I did like a commercial for England. Yeah, right after high school. That was
hilarious.
Here, yeah, but I did not remember that.
I watched it again this morning. It's very good.
Oh, okay.
But I was just wondering, Isla, your biog says that you did a lot of commercials when you were much younger, but it doesn't say which ones. I was just wondering, what's the
lottery. My first commercial was a lotteries commercial.
Is that
I don't
the one
think
where
I did anything. Oh no, I did a Lifesavers and lottery. That's it.
Was that the one you hyperventilated at?
Yes.
You were so excited.
I was so excited.
Oh,
yeah.
right, okay.
I was 9 years old. It was sort of.
Really?
Yeah.
In Perth?
In Perth.
Wow.
She's all jaded.
I was
now.
only an extra,
Yeah.
by the way. I didn't even get a close up. I was right in the back of the frame. Just breathing heavily.
That's the big time. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Jesse and Isla, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.